Um, all right. So in 2001, Mark Morrison signed to Death Row UK. Is it true that you nearly worked on his album because of Suge?
Yeah, Suge had mentioned it to me, and had mentioned, because I remember he asked me, you know the guy that sings Return to the Mac? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you want to fuck with him? And I'm like, well, I go, see if you can get him down here in the studio. We'll see what happens. But, I guess it never panned out or whatever.
Damn.
I talked to his manager. I told him, I'll fly out here, you know what I mean? I'll put him in the studio. I'll make the best record he's ever made,
I'd say that's the truth, though, you know what I'm saying? That's why they call you the beat banger.
They can just, if I get the artist in the studio with me, I know I can make a hotter record than if you just send somebody a beat sometimes,
Yeah, I feel you, because you don't get the atmosphere if you ain't in the studio with them. It takes away from it.
Yeah.
But so Suge knew of his presence and everything, right? Because I got a lot of people questioning if Suge knew of the dude or not.
Yeah. I never saw him at the Death Row office and stuff, but I remember Suge mentioned him to me. Yeah.
Okay. Because that was always one of the questions, if he was actually really with Death Row or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I remember Suge would tell me about Death Row Europe, you know what I mean, back then, but I just don't know whatever happened or didn't, bottom line, he wasn't releasing much of the Death Row material either.
Yeah, it's strange, though, because he could have had a comeback. I mean, he was gearing up for one, but I guess he was afraid of failure, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know if he was getting blackballed or what was happening. Something was going on.
That's crazy.
I kind of said, screw the business for a while, became a professional poker player. And well, I've always been a gambler, you know what I mean? I counted cards before blackjack and played poker, and I was making a living playing poker too, but I love the music so much. I just recently came back to it, I would do it off and on, and then I'd go on tour and stuff, but now I'm back in the lab every single day making tracks, so it's I'm about to blow it up again.
I was wondering what happened to you after the Death Row thing, because, you just went you went silent.
Yeah, well, I was still in a contract with them back at the time. When Death Row, collapsed and everything, then, I was free to do whatever I wanted. So at that time, I was just playing poker and stuff and doing tracks, doing independent records and stuff, but not really to take it all mainstream again.
I'm glad, man, because the industry needs you, you know what I'm saying? You're one of the few good producers actually left.
Oh, thanks, man. When you hear the new tracks, you're going to flip out. They're banging, dude.
I watched the YouTube video, man. I was excited because I noticed you were sampling some tracks, but I can't remember one. It was the one with the guitar and the bitch shouldn't have left me shit, you know what I'm saying? You said that in the video. I was like, oh my god, this track's fucking amazing.
Well, you should hear the shit we're doing right now. We're going to start filming in the studios and stuff, too. I think Johnny J's actually supposed to come down next week. I'm supposed to do a cut with him. We should film it for YouTube or something, 40 Glock. Johnny J. I did a track with 40 Glock last week. Who else has been over there? There's been some other cats coming through the studio. Baby Bash has gone through there. And then I'm also producing another group right now, two Mexican guys named Controversy Committee, and their record sounded really dope too.
Yeah, I think I've heard of them actually.
Yeah, their new record that we're working on is going to be tight. We got a new one with them and Butch Cassidy singing on the hook. It's going to be funky.
Nice. In 2003, you had the chance to go and redo a couple of Tupac classics, and then you did the album New Mix Classics. Can you tell me, did Suge ask for it to be done and, shit like that? I mean, could you tell me a bit about that album?
Pretty much. He was like, look, I want to remix Pac's cuts. I want you to do the beats for it. And when you get something like that, it's not easy to do. You got classic songs that everybody knows the song. You know what I mean? Pac was already passed away, and you got to try to reproduce the classics that people have already heard a million times that respected Pac for, with all the controversy. So back then, I suggested, why don't we bring cats like Outkast or some other dope West Coast artists and other cats and put them on the record with Pac and make a whole new record, But I guess Suge wasn't feeling that idea. But it's crazy because a couple years later, they released a Biggie album like that with a bunch of artists featured on it, and it was a cool album to listen to. I wish we could have done that. I think if we would have done what I was talking about, it would have been a bigger record,
Yeah, it would have been a bigger record because it just ended up going gold, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
The production was ace, though. I will say that. The production was ace.
Thanks, man. It's like I had to come at it at a different point of view. And it's either, people are going to love it or hate it, you know what I mean? They might hate it because they're already hating on the idea of it. you know.
Yeah.
But if you just listen to the beats on that album, you know, there's some tight beats on that album.
On the Hearts and Men track, DJ Quick's name was censored on that. Was there like a specific reason, like did Suge want it censored or something like that?
You know what? I don't even know.
I mean, because I knew why the Snoop one was censored, you know, because Crooked I was on the track and there was beef with Snoop at the time, and I always wondered why DJ Quick's name was censored in there, and they had Corrupt Joe and Bitch in the background. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't even know, dude.
There's one record that people always asked about Umix that they weren't sure if it existed or not. It was a version of Hail Mary featuring Eastwood. Was that ever recorded or anything, or
You know what? I don't even remember. I remixed that record, and it's possible. I can't remember. I did so many tracks over there at the time. You know what? He probably did rap on it, but I don't remember.
Thanks to you, I gotta give you credit for this, because no one knew that Keisha Cole was on death row at the time, or during any time actually, till I actually viewed your site and I read your biography and whatever. And you know, thanks to you, we learned that Keisha Cole was on Death Row Records. Did she actually have material over there? How long was she on there? You know, all that shit.
You know what? I don't know if she actually had signed it. Like, what would happen a lot of times is artists would come through, and they'd be working on records over there and stuff, and maybe they'd be negotiating their contract at the time or whatever, and maybe for some reason they stayed or some reason they didn't, you know what I mean? And I don't really know what the business part of it was, but she was over there, and we were doing songs over there and stuff, you know? I liked her too. She was cool. I mean, I'm really happy for her that she blew up. Actually, I'd love to work with her now.
If I ever get the connection, you know what I'm saying, I'll see if I can make it happen, because my boy is Nutso's on my boy's label, so I'm gonna see if I can hook up something for you, you know, get you guys back working together again. I can't make any promises, but you know, I'll see what I can do for you.
What's crazy is that all the artists that I've worked with in my career and stuff, if any of them and myself saw each other somewhere, we'd be like, yo, let's go cut a record. We go in the studio and probably make a dope jam. But, you know, I'm not out there going to clubs all the time and hanging out. And if you talk to some other person that's like an in-between person, you got all these, like, I don't know, like weird management people and publicist people. It's like everybody's so fucking Hollywood, dude. It's sick, you know?
I'll tell you, man, like, I tried hooking up a deal from my artist, Warlord, who he was on to Death Row, back in '05. I do everything for him for free or whatever, right? And, this guy that comes to me, and he was offering my other artist advance money to go do this little, independent record deal. And I asked him, can my dude Warlord get an advance? I'm like, and he's like, no, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, dude, you offered my other artist an advance. I guess, you know, when you actually get down to the business, you're going to take my dude's advance money because you got the deal or whatever. I mean, I just hate the fucking industry, you know what I'm saying? I like making collaborations and shit happen, you know, that's why I hooked you up with there, because I wanted you to get your money straight, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, the industry's fucked up.
So what are the people that bought Death Row, what are they doing with it? Are they just releasing all the music for free?
The people who bought Death Row, they're releasing it like, they're basically putting it out on like disc and whatever. They're putting out a couple Crooked I tracks in November. The people who bought Death Row, they're like arguing in between each other, and there's like a lot of inner turmoil between them or whatever.
I can't believe that they would buy the company for that much and then release the material for free.
Well, they didn't release material for free. The guy, one of the employees they hired, you'll know him. You'll know him as John Hyland. You remember Hyland, right? He did an interview with you back in '03.
Okay.
He was Death Row's webmaster or whatever. But
okay, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, they hired him to go do all this stuff, right? And he's the reason Crooked I tracks and whatever, like to say how the Bad Guy bootleg came out, whatever. And he's the reason all that shit leaked, and you didn't get any money off it or whatever.
What a dumbass.
I'm just, you know, it's ridiculous though, because he made money off it, you know what I'm saying? But the owners of Death Row don't want to seem to acknowledge that this guy's he's bad for the industry, but that's whatever.
He owes me some money.
He owes Crooked I and J-Flex and all the rest of Death Row artists some money too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, because you ain't the only dude he did this to. He did it to J-Flex, he did it to The Realist, he did it to OFTB, I mean, Snoop Dogg, Dre, you name it, he done it. Yeah.
So how's he making money off it? It seems it's so hard to make money off some of the music, because once somebody has it, then they put it on their site, and then people can get it from them, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, like he had like a hidden forum or whatever where people would, you know, if they got his trust or whatever, they'd buy it off him or whatever, and he'd sell them the music basically, and he'd make like maybe $100 to a couple $1,000, depending on how much he sold.